First is WeChat, owned by the Chinese tech giant Tencent and heavily used among the Chinese diaspora, which I am a member of. Many first-generation Chinese outside the country rely on WeChat exclusively for information. Think about that, 5 million, many of the 5 million Chinese diaspora rely exclusively for information from WeChat. And research shows that overseas WeChat users face censorship and surveillance. And in August, the Canadian government disclosed a network on WeChat that engaged in a coordinated campaign to smear Parliament member Michael Chong, who has been a vocal critic of Beijing. And when we say it's hard to evaluate the effectiveness of this information campaign, and I would say this is where it's actually quite effective. And most people don't know because most people are not in the Chinese diaspora. The second platform that needs to be paid special attention to is X, formerly Twitter, owned by Elon Musk. Under its new leadership, X has dismantled many of the policies and teams that had increased the transparency and thwarted inauthentic behavior. In addition, Musk may be particularly vulnerable to pressure from Beijing because he has significant business interests in China, and the CCP is very, very good at leveraging foreign businesses' access to the country to compel them to toe the party line. China is Tesla's second largest market, and Tesla's factory in Shanghai is the largest electric vehicle factory in the world. And Musk's close relationship with the CCP was on display early this month during a meeting with Xi Jinping in San Francisco, in which he expressed gratitude to Xi for his support to Tesla's China operation, and he pledged to dive deep in China. And then lastly, we have all mentioned, it's obviously that's very important, is TikTok, which is owned by ByteDance. I can't emphasize enough the point that all Chinese companies, whether they are private or public, are subject to the control of the CCP, which creates an opportunity and a mechanism for Chinese government censorship, surveillance, and propaganda that affect not only their China-based users, but those around the world. When we talk about TikTok, there are always the arguments whether there's evidence or not evidence about propaganda censorship. This is beside the point. The point is that the CCP has the capability to do whatever it wants just by the nature of the relationship between Chinese business and the Chinese government. And there are evidence that TikTok has been found suppressing content critical of the Chinese government. And TikTok has also been found to track journalists who are covering the company's link to China. So in this context, Freedom House calls on the Congress to, number one, enact regulations that require transparency from all social media platforms, including disclosure of their content moderation policies and enforcement, and what content they have censored, suppressed, or promoted at the requests of governments. Secondly, hold a hearing to examine questions regarding Tencent's data protection and content moderation on WeChat as they relate to US-based users. Lastly, continue to provide funding to civil society initiatives around the world that document and address Beijing's foreign media influence activities.